Hey guys, it's Strike Raid again. Or Raid. Or Strike. You guys call me by a bunch of names. Anywho, this is a guide I really wanted to do because brooches are extremely confusing for new players. Heck, when I was new I didn't even know they existed. Brooches are items that you can socket into fashion equipment and they give you stat bonuses. That's pretty much it. It sounds basic, but there's a lot to cover about these things. Learning about brooches and how they work essentially make and break the difference between the average player and the advanced one. I recommend that you don't even touch the brooch system until you're about to run Alter or Void, which is the current in-game raid. Feel free to watch this video anyways if you're curious about brooches. Anyways, let's get started. Alright, so before I get too into detail about what brooches are, let's start with the basics and just identify them. I'm going to start with the sets, and we're in PowerPoint because I don't have all these brooches in game. Welcome to Striker Raid's class, Brooch 101. Anyway, so brooches come in sets. We got SD, BSK, FOT, and Assassin. They also come in different types, and those types are attack, defense, and effect. So all of the brooches have like an attack version, they all have a defense version, and they all have an effect version. Anyway, so moving on, they also have different rarities. This is just BSK, but different rarities start with a bit, which is green, and then Kilo, which is blue, Mega, which is yellow, Giga, which is red, and Terra, which is purple. And now all of them follow that same pattern, with green being the lowest rarity and purple being the highest. And of course, like the highest rarities have the better stats. So all of them are like that except for Sin, at least for our case in Game Forge, because we never got the bit and Kilo Sin brooches. Sin brooches were a premium shop item only. We never got the inferior versions of those, and that was a while back ago, like about a year ago I think, in December when we had those in the premium shop. They've never been added back since, so that's why Sin is an exception. Anyway, so let's go back into the game. You can equip brooches by right clicking the fashion item you want to socket them into, and you can drag the brooches you want into the slots. Keep in mind that you have to equip the brooches in order, starting with attack, then defense, and then effect. You can't just equip the defense brooch without an attack brooch, and you can't equip that effect brooch without a defense brooch. You can only equip one attack, one defense, and one effect brooch per fashion item. So for example, I can't equip 3 attack brooches on one fashion item. You can also mix and match the types of brooches. Let's say you wanted 2 SD brooches, but you wanted the defense one to be BSK. Yeah, you can do that, it's just not advisable since you'll be missing out on Brooch Set Effects. That's the next topic I'll cover. Equipping 3 brooches of the same type and rarity grants you a Brooch Set Effect. Using my Irwin as an example, you guys can see that a full BSK Giga set in his chest piece gives him more crit rate. Looking at his gloves, which also has a full BSK Giga set, it gives him more movement speed and attack speed. I know this is the confusing part. You think that one brooch type would grant the same effect no matter what, but no, they don't. The game just wants to confuse you. Each clothing item has a different set effect for each brooch type. You can have up to 5 sets at once. One for the head, one for the chest, one for the gloves, one for the bottoms, and one for the shoes. I'll flash a piece of the Excel document on screen now, and this shows you all the possible set effects you can get with each brooch type from the mega rarity and higher. The effect is better the higher the rarity is. There are some really helpful effects out there like crit percent and armor break. Feel free to read this at your leisure. I'll be linking this Excel sheet in the description. Now we can learn how to actually get these things. Aside from buying brooches on the market, you can get brooches from brooch transmitters. There are different rarities with transmitters, inferior and premium. Inferior brooch transmitters drop bit and kilo rarities, and premium brooch transmitters drop mega, giga, and terra rarities. There are different transmitters for the different types of brooches too. Opening these will give you a random brooch, it's all RNG. Inferior brooch transmitters drop from rookie raids, and occasionally defeating Grutons inside districts can give you some too. You can also purchase inferior brooch transmitters from the Gruton Gold Shop. The daily attendance boxes from hymns also have a chance of giving you an inferior brooch transmitter. Premium brooch transmitters are only available through the premium shop. Sometimes events can give them too. I mentioned them a little earlier, but if you're looking for the Sin brooch transmitters, then tough luck because those have been added into the game for a really long time. They're hard to find. The only way to get those is from buying from other players, but they cost a lot of money. I don't recommend grabbing them as a new player. You can also get standard brooch transmitters from Gronko cubes, but the drop rate is so low that it's not very farmable. Standard brooch transmitters are pretty much the same as the premium ones. I've heard that premium Brooch transmitters have a slightly higher rate of dropping Giga and Terra rarities, but I'm not sure. It's just a guess. If you're a free-to-play player, your best chance at obtaining higher rarity brooches aside from buying them on the market is to fuse brooches. We'll be covering that next. If you guys have noticed, brooches are a little hard to get rid of. If you're new and open a Brooch transmitter, you guys can see that they just eat up inventory space. You can't discard or sell brooches to the NPC vendors. Other than sending your brooches by hymns to random players, which don't do that unless you know that you're sending them to a dead account, guys, or putting your brooches on alt farm characters that you'll eventually delete, you can fuse brooches together to save space. In order to fuse brooches, you'll need Brooch fusers. You can purchase them with the Groot and Gold. The inferior Brooch fuser is for bit and kilo rarity brooches, and the Brooch fuser with the gold background is for Mega, Giga, and Terra rarity brooches. You can only fuse together brooches that are from the same set, so SD brooches can only be fused with SD brooches, BSK brooches can only be fused with BSK brooches, and all that jazz. All you have to do is pick 5 brooches, put them in the fuser, and you'll get a random brooch back that is from the same set as the ones you're fusing. There's a trick to fusing these things though. If you fuse together brooches that are from the same rarity together, there's a solid chance that the brooch you get in return will be upgraded to the next rarity. If you fuse brooches of the same rarity and type, then there's a good chance you'll get the type you used and also the rarity will be upgraded. So if you're trying to get better brooches, it's best to only fuse brooches that are of the same type and rarity. Feel free to take this with a grain of salt. These are my recommendations for what I think is good. I also won't go super into detail on each individual brooch and will only give an overview. If you want specifics, check out the guides I will link in the description. In attack type brooches across all sets, you'd want a brooch that gives crit rate, armor break, bonus damage against boss named, or accuracy. Accuracy is really helpful when you're trying to meet minimum accuracy requirements for certain raids, and the other stats I mentioned are really good for boosting your overall damage. In defense brooches across all sets, evasion, crit percent resistance, or damage reduction to boss named are good stats to have. With the BSK set specifically, I recommend to go for either Hellcat or Provoke instead. In utility brooches across all sets, go for movement speed and sight districts. For the BSK set specifically, Ecstasy is the better brooch to go for the Sense set specifically if you somehow got your hands on it. Either Chaos or Delusion are good choices. There's nothing wrong with going for a full Mega SD set in all of your pieces. What I'm showing you guys now is my Jin on the Ian server. This is really cheap to build. I bought all of these brooches off the market, and they helped me farm for my ults or avoid manic gear. Each brooch was less than 1 million DZ if I'm remembering correctly. It's nowhere near optimal, but it gets the job done. You'll always be able to build better brooch sets once you have the resources for it. There's no need to rush things. I couldn't find a place to squeeze this next part into the guide, so I'm gonna just make a note of it at the end. A lot of new players don't have all the slots in their fashion items unlocked and therefore can't put brooches in them. There's a solution to that, no worries guys. Lately, Gameforge has been nice to us and let us get brooch punchers from the past couple events. These unlock the brooch slots for you. The only other method to get brooch punchers is to buy them from the premium shop for real money. And yeah, it sucks, I know. You can also buy costumes from the premium shop. All costumes from the premium shop have all the brooch slots unlocked already, so you don't have to worry about the brooch punchers. Just try to buy the ones that come with all 5 pieces, for example like the Groot outfit. If you don't want to use your money, sometimes players will sell costumes on the market. Here's a cheap one from the summer event that has both the chest and bottom pieces. You can find the shoes that go with it too if you're lucky. And that's it for this guide. Please note that this guide I made is intended for the Gameforge version of Soulworker, and this version specifically hasn't gotten the Brooch revamp yet. You could still use this guide with the Brooch revamp, but the part where I give my recommendations for what good brooches to pick may be outdated, as well as the set effects will be outdated too. Anyways, I hope this helped you guys. See y'all around!